Hey everybody, Runham here for episode 4 of my Stellaris playthrough. So last episode we really sort of did some border expansion, and this episode I am hoping to maybe resolve some of the issues I have with one of my neighbors. Maybe by declaring war and humiliating him, or waiting until I have supremacy, or domination rather, and make a vassal out of him, vassalize him. That's probably ideal. I'd probably ideally want him to vassalize him, but it's okay. So it looks like they sent a construction ship to Achamar, so I'm not going to bother trying to claim the system that borders it. I'm too late to the game for that, so I'm going to close up shop and forget these two systems. I'm going to let Prasnakin have them. Pretty soon I'm going to have starbase capacity +2. So what I'm going to do with the starbase capacity is, at Batin, I'm going to build a starbase, because that's a nice choke point. And then at Zempek, definitely going to build a starbase, because that's a really important choke point between me and a potential enemy. I'm not warring with them yet, but I suspect I will be soon. So as you can see, even just upgrading one tier, I go from like 150 strength to like 600 or so. It will make it a lot more expensive for a fleet just to plow through. Eventually, you can actually get these star bases up to Citadel strength, which is like tier 4 starports, and they can have a fleet strength of like 40k, which is honestly ridiculously strong. It's not going to be able to defend against every possible incursion, but 40k is nothing to scoff at. That's an unbelievably strong starbase. Now, of course, I'm leagues away from having the technology and research to be able to go that route. I'm not even close to being in a position to do that, but I'd like to position myself where the choke points on the map I have sort of locked down.
Construction project concluded.
All right, so now I have 3 trading hubs. 1, 2, 3. And then I have the Zempek station building. Right now I'm at my limit of starbase capacity, so if I go over it, I start to pay for it. But in about 5 months, my capacity will go up by 2, so I'm not yet worried about that. By the time I get the research, it'll work itself out.
Construction project concluded.
One of the other things I was really wanting to do is to get a little bit more energy credits. Oh, nice. Get some additional energy credits so that I could pay the curators to aid me in my research. So I need just 2 or 3 more months of energy credits. All right, let's read this. Where is this taking place?
Situation log update.
Yeah, I guess I'll help with this. See where this goes. They had some sort of generation ship that needs assistance.
Construction project concluded.
As you can see, I have a pretty good amount of surplus energy per month, which is comfortable to sit on. Someone just migrated here, so I gotta put them to work. I'm gonna have them gather that. Well, actually, I'll have them here for now, which means they migrated from somewhere. Yeah, they migrated from that science lab. Gotta come from somewhere, right?
Special project concluded.
Alright, so what all just happened? Hidden Worlds. Yes, so this is of an event chain that I want to start.
Situation log
And then here
updated.
is... Yeah, I'm going to image them for the archives. I'd rather have the
System survey
research from that. Alright, so now currently this ship here has no orders. I guess what I'm going to do is head to Medkarash and assist with research. I want to leave the surveying up to the ship that's really, really good at surveying for anomalies, and then have the other science ships assist research. So if you look at Tri Prime, for instance, if we... I don't know why the assist research is not working at the moment. Come on. There we go. So now we're getting 14% additional research from the buildings there because they are assisted.
Another day, another scientific breakthrough.
Alright, so we just got the scientific research done for more starbases. I think next, leader life. A lot of these are pretty good. This one's the cheapest, and I like the leader capacity and pool size. That way I can hire more leaders, and I'll have 4 choices of leaders to draw from rather than 3. Potentially getting better leaders. I also just realized that I have enough for their help in science. So if we look at the amount of research we get, Curator Insight gives us another 10%. So that really kicks our research up even higher. So if we compare our research levels to, let's say, everyone else, I go to my contacts, and they are inferior, they are inferior, they are inferior, 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 inferior. Like, everyone has inferior technology level to me. Meaning that I don't necessarily have the strongest ships, per se, because it's possible that my science was not in military tech. Now, I know some of it was. A lot of it was, but not all of it. But it's pretty safe to say that I'm scientifically ahead of everyone else. Maybe not, it's likely I have more engineering and physics research than most of my potential enemies. But my societal research is lagging behind just a little bit. So I can definitely aim to try to catch up with that. Alright, so I have this starbase now. And what I'm going to turn this starbase into is Anchorage. Anchorage basically allows you to have more naval capacity. It's one of the prime ways to increase your naval capacity, so it's pretty important. You should not ignore Anchorage stations, or you'll be economically limited to a very unnecessarily small fleet. And nobody wants to lose a war because of economy size, right? I mean, that wouldn't be good.
Construction project concluded.
So Tendrazun Confederation. Yeah. So these guys, the Fanatic Materialist Egalitarians, now have a migration treaty with Prosnakin, which makes total sense. They're same ethics and everything. I tend not to like migration treaties because I like my... What that does is allows aliens non-native to your empire to settle in your empire, but I like to keep it with my people, because my people have traits that I hand chose. I min-max them. So if I let just anyone in, it sort of removes all the effort I made from min-maxing. And that's no good. So yeah, this scientist has a 40% increased chance of finding anomalies over, let's pick this one at random, which is only 30%. So that's why I have him surveying over everyone else.
Construction project concluded.
Now, ideally, I'd like to pay the curators for their curator insight and the artists for being their sponsor at the same time, which means I need some more energy credits in order to make that happen. So I'm working on that. So if we look at Zempek now, I have a starport. Now, yes, it would be stronger if I put like gun batteries, missile batteries in here, but anchorage stations are good enough to be able to defend
Construction project concluded.
against, the light incursions. It will stop some small stuff. And then I can also put in a target uplink computer to have their guns on that station shoot a little bit longer. At this point, I think I'm going to focus on military research because it looks to be very, very likely that I get ensnared in some of that. And then now that I have a planetary administration here, I can also do a Paradise Dome, and that's what I'm currently saving up for. I have this this pawn kind of just sitting here waiting. There we go. And I have a new leader coming in. Oh, I meant to do cloud study a long time ago. Let's go ahead and just get that done.
Construction project concluded.
All right, so Kumla's all built up. Or Kuma, sorry. I think I'm going to send this construction ship over to this triangle here and start claiming that stuff. Obviously, I'm building pretty wide at this point, but that's fine. I'm going to cancel some of these robots just because I need the minerals to do upgrades that immediately help, whereas the potential of building robots there isn't all that useful at the moment.
Research concluded.
Alright, so I just got more research for robot modifications. So if I cancel that robot, and then go to the species and create a new template, let's see what I can also add to this robot. I can add decreased cost of consumer goods or decreased robot upkeep. That's good. I'll make them cheaper to maintain.
Situation log updated.
It will take 14 months to refit all the robots with that trait, but that's plenty worth it.
Situation log updated.
Alright, so there is something called Drill Rampage. It's an event. This event will require a construction ship. I just happen to have one in the area that I'm sending over to help with that.
Situation log updated.
Alright, so now I have a new ruler, which has an orbital research mandate. That's going to be really, really easy to fulfill because I have so many research stations to build.
System survey concluded without incident.
So let's see. I found 2 anomalies here, 3 anomalies here, and 1 anomaly here. I don't know. I think it's worth sort of focusing on anomaly initially. I think it's pretty handy, honestly. Pretty handy. I have Zempek here. I'm also, I said I was going to upgrade Botine to a starbase as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with my next monthly paycheck. And that will allow me to have even more ships, more naval capacity, more so than I have now.
Construction project concluded.
Now, they really haven't made a move on me yet.
Research concluded.
I haven't really been focusing on... expanding my navy. So they do have a 1,000-sized fleet sort of sitting on my border. They're attacking a pirate fleet. It actually is possible that the pirates went after them and they didn't pay them off. So in a minute here, they might go from fleet power superior to fleet power inferior or less. Possibly even pathetic if the pirates wipe them out, which would be a great time to strike. It would be a great time to attack.
Anomaly found.
So I might want to plan on that. So I really want to get Mendok. Mendok is probably the most important choke point that way, because Sidar and Nijil don't really have economic value, but Mendok does. So I'm going to send a construction ship out to
Special project concluded.
Go that way. I just stopped that out-of-control drill, which gave me research progress towards deep drill mining. Deep core mining, rather, which is
Special project concluded.
Nice and helpful. So now that I've researched the void clouds, I can either do more damage to void clouds or have my tile physics output increase. Obviously, I'm going to go with tile physics output. Most of these options are sort of no-brainers. So if you look at like tile physics here, for instance, void loops gives us another 10%, which is a pretty nice boon. Looks like a lot of people are migrating here. And now at this point, I'm getting even more minerals because my robot upkeep went down too. Or it's in the process of going down in 3 months, I should say. Don't jump the gun. Haven't done it yet.
Construction project concluded.
Alright, so what am I... Let's see. Getting some Discord PMs there. Let me mute Discord so you don't hear any more of those beeps. Those reminiscent beeps of Discord. Yeah, I like the position I stand. I'm just going to keep seeing if the pirates mess up my neighbors. They're not strong enough to really wipe me out, and I'm not really strong enough to wipe them out, so we're kind of in a cold war. Mostly because I'm focusing on... oh, forget that. Displease my enemies. Yes, absolutely. I found remnants of a trade ship or whatever. And it was asking if I wanted to return the resources I found. It's like, nope.
Special project
I definitely do not. So now I'm going to get Bulwark of Harmony, which makes my ship stronger in my own region, and also into defensive war allows me to build ships faster. And in getting that, that unlocks either robot is weak, the flesh is weak, which is a precursor to becoming cybernetic, or technological ascendancy. I think I'm going to do flesh is weak.
Situation log updated.
So now what I'm going to do is research flesh is weak, and that will turn all of my organic civilians to become partially cybernetic, which is awesome. It also looks like I kind of forgot to do this, but that I can become a patron of the artist again. I have enough energy credits for that, so I should go ahead and do that.
Construction project concluded.
Botine station just finished. Gonna have another anchorage station there. Now, at this point, there's probably not much left to survey that hasn't already been surveyed by others. There's maybe some things here, but most of this path has probably already been surveyed by orange and pink and whatnot.
Construction project concluded. Construction project concluded.
It's possible I'm wrong about that. I mean, there's really no way to tell other than sharing maps. So if I, for instance, opened a trade deal and I said, hey, let's give active sensor links, that's offering them more than I'd wish to, but that would be able to tell me whether they've surveyed it or not. I'd rather just resurvey it if I have to. It's not that big of a problem, you know, rather than to basically show them everything. So I just stole some supplies off of actually I'm going to put listening posts here. Stole some supplies off of them, and they were mad about it, but it doesn't really matter because they hated my guts anyway, so no love lost. So as you see in the relationship here, stole wreckage cargo. It was -20, but I'm already -200, so the difference between -200 and 220 is pretty negligible. At this point, it looks like, yeah, I guess there's some stuff that a construction ship can do. Trying to keep the construction ships nice and busy. Always building something or another. So as you can see, this science ship here is also surveying at the same time. I don't really like that because what they're doing is they're kind of stripping away the possibility of me finding anomalies. So one way to avoid that is to like close off your borders entirely. You know, but that will also piss off a lot of your potential neighbors. So I just try to get as much surveyed as possible as fast as I can, and then just sort of shrug off the rest of it, because you can't always be perfect.
Situation log updated. System survey concluded. Construction project concluded.
So now my piracy risk, yeah, it's still up there. It's not perfect. It's not great, but it's not ridiculously high like it used to be. The ship designer I could probably revisit because I have cold fusion reactors, which means I generate a lot more power than I did before. So it's probably worth redesigning my ships. But you can't really do that while you're building one, so I have to wait for that to complete.
Construction project concluded.
Alright, so now I'm going to pause the game, and let's see what I can do. I can put afterburners back here, which are I like preferably over just extra power, and do the same thing for my corvettes. And that won't be that expensive to rebuild them. That's pretty cheap.
Construction project concluded. Fleet enhancements applied.
All right, so now I'm grabbing
Construction
Mendoc,
project
which is
concluded.
what I really wanted. I really wanted Mendoc because it has all that minerals on it. It's a pretty good choke point. It locks down Kavzek and Aya stars for myself, so that's a good border solar system to own. Let's see what else. Trying to keep my construction ships busy, just building and building and building and building.
Construction project concluded.
So Zempek now has a listening station post, which allows me to sort of see into their borders. So I can see they have a 1.1k fleet and a 1.5k fleet. I have a 2.1k fleet. I know now it would be wise to sort of continually build up my fleet. Am I worried? No, I'm not particularly worried. But it would be also foolish not to... Oh, okay. Those Prosnakin decided to gift me stuff for no particular reason. So I'll accept that gift. They gift me. Often you receive gifts if they perceive you as a power, as a to try to get in your good graces. Oh, and I have pirates to deal with. Okay. Hopefully these pirates attack Botine, because Botine is actually has some built-in defenses there.
Construction project concluded.
Yeah, that looks, at least initially looks to be the direction they went.
Construction project concluded.
Alright, just grab Mendoc, which is a hub of
spaceports sustaining damage.
Minerals, and then also has a lovely dark matter there that I'll be able to exploit for resources later. So they're now smashing up against my station, but my station is pretty beefy, right? So they're not even really going to be able to do much harm to me. And that is because I locked down my choke points. So now my piracy risk, once I blow them up, will be 0 temporarily, which is good. Oh, you know, there's a system here that's hard to see, but I might as well survey that. Seeing it's almost immediately adjacent to my home system.
Log updated.
And also, whose Prosnakin is asking for a non-aggression pact. I'll sign it. I think it would be interesting, at least for a playthrough, to sort of show the benefits of allies. Often I just kind of go it alone, but I might as well have some allies if I can. Let's go ahead and form They're not going to do non-aggression with me.
Construction project concluded.
Alright, so I have a research mandate. Building those 2 research stations there will fulfill the mandate. Prosnakin is signing a lot of non-aggressions with a lot of different people. Sort of scrambling, so to speak.
Receiving transmission.
They want to trade. I give them food. They give me mineral and energy. Sure, I'll take that trade.
Construction project concluded.
I don't want to forget about the danger on my border.
Construction project concluded. Special project concluded.
Okay, so I finally uncovered. So I found a Gaia world, and I think what I'm going to do is, rather than say, "Hey, maybe I'll come conquer you," I'll try to befriend them to put them under my wing, so to speak. It's definitely the friendlier approach, but also... Alright, so orbital mandate just finished. I'm going to unlock a new
Research
tradition
concluded.
soon. As I said in last episode, I was planning on possibly making these guys my vassal rather than conquering them, and I still intend to do that if all goes well.
Special project concluded.
Queuing all this up will keep them busy for a bit.
Research concluded. Construction
Alright, so I
project
researched some
concluded.
tile blockers. I'm going to want to get... well, terraforming would be pretty nice, as would tile blocker, but I'm going to do naval logistics office research. That will allow me to have larger fleets. Or not larger fleets, but more naval capacity is what I meant to say. Which is, in a way, more fleets, larger fleets, whatever. They're the same thing.
Construction project concluded.
So now, as you can see, I'm really going wide. I'm going to have a lot more potential territory than... Oh, nice. Than most of my my enemies, which is nice. I'll have sort of this whole blob here. I need to start... and maybe I'll do it with these guys. Start surveying southbound, because this has already almost certainly been surveyed by my neighbors. But that's not to say that I shouldn't survey it myself and start expanding that way. Because that's sort of the last frontier that's up for
Construction
grabs.
project concluded. Construction project concluded.
You are out of stuff to do. Maybe I'll survey backwards. Where's my good scientist that surveys? Oh, he's still
System
up here.
survey concluded.
Okay, that works. There's a lot going on here. So one of the ways to balance out the imbalance of your research is, so like this zone, for instance, is physics, but if I just upgrade it for biolab, it helps to balance it out. And I tend to find myself doing that late game because there's a lot of, you tend to get a lot more physics than anything else. So I'm almost done with Flesh is Weak, which makes me cybernetic, which will give me a nice additional boon of research and the like. So I'm looking forward to that. I can support 5 more destroyers. And pretty soon I'm going to have domination policy, which is pretty cool. I don't mind dominating my enemies, that's for sure. I also just unlocked another starbase capacity, but I'm going to save it up for when I build here.
Special project concluded.
Alright, so now if I look at my species, I'm called Neo-Triac rather than Triac because I adopted cybernetics, which gives me increased habitability, more army damage, and my leaders live longer. All really good stuff. And then I'm going to set the rights. Oh, they inherited rights. I'm going to set the rights for regular citizens to be let's see, set the rights for assimilation and set the living standards to be basically synthesized. So if I ever get non-synthetics in my empire for whatever reason, they'll become synthetics by default. So now if I look at my researchers, for instance, I get an extra 5% research because I'm cyborg. I'm part cyborg. Oh, here's another. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is let's find. There he is. Mr. Drinks a lot. And I'm going to replace him with this new young person that doesn't have those problems. I'm currently spinning quite a lot of plates. Merging some of the fleet ships I already made with my master fleet. There's certainly a lot of survey ships sort of flocking around me. Not exactly sure how I feel about that. I don't want my territory super surveyed.
Construction project concluded. System survey concluded.
Actually, I'm going to build here at the newly surveyed place that has the primitives who are currently in Iron Age. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to elevate them.
Shipwreck studied. Fascinating.
I just finished research grants. Let's go get that again. I reverse engineered some of their ship tech.
Construction project concluded.
And I'm really gearing up for war. Ideally, I
project concluded.
want to take care of them before it's too long. All right, so something's a crystalline. So yeah, there's a special event that's going to happen at Alpha Hydri that I probably don't have the fleet to deal with at the moment. I did, however, just run into more, probably another curator alcove, or whomever they are.
An alien empire has established communications.
Nope, they are people I hadn't met. They either got elevated or I counted wrong when I thought I already had met 12. Who are they? Where are they? There they are. Yeah, they're probably pretty painted into a corner there. That would have been a really bad starting position because they have nowhere to expand to. Same with, same with this group. I mean, there's a lot of empires that just got screwed. I mean, if you're ever playing this game and you have a really bad start, sometimes it's fun to see, hey, can I, sort of
survey concluded.
unpaint myself out of this corner? But a lot of the times, it's impossible, and you end up just sort of stuck. That's when you need to build tall, whether you want to or not. So I don't have any current mandates. I don't have any special projects that I can do. I don't even have any anomalies. Yeah, so I'm looking pretty good, covering all my bases. All right, so now I'm going to adopt domination. The domination will allow me to declare war on these guys and vassalize them as a war goal. Yeah, but the power dynamic. So the way this works is, I can try to subjugate them. Once I conquer certain territories, I'll turn them into vassals instead. So I can start to use my influence to make claims on their territories. Oops, that's not actually where I'm meant to make a claim. Oh, and I just met some more aliens. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. And they were amoebas, so I'm going to reverse engineer them. Now there's some passive, for back of letter, lack of a better terminology for them, like passive creatures, I guess. Like the void clouds and the amoebas and all that you can sort of decide how you want to handle them. So I'm, I sort of do research. All right, so what's going on here is the Vol, wherever they are, just told me that the people that inhabit that planet, the primitives, are like evil, and they offered to purge them off that planet, seemingly to basically give me that planet for free, and I turned them down. Oh, they'll give me minerals for food? Yeah, I'll take that deal. Because yeah, I don't necessarily want to purge them off. You know, because I think it might be interesting, I should say, to show you what it looks like to elevate primitives. So Alpha Hydra here, yes, it looks like it has a crazy amount of resources, but the moment I try to exploit those resources, I will be attacked. That is the way that
Receiving transmission.
that works. You learn that the hard way, trust me. But I'm telling you right now, that's what happens. Guess in the right light, it could be seen as fun. I don't, however, find it fun to get squished unexpectedly.
Evading hostiles.
Alright, so the Vol who wanted to crush this planet shows up anyway to crush the planet. And their fleet is significantly larger than my own. So I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to stop them. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try necessarily, but whoever these Mardark Vol are, I certainly don't have any real allegiance to them. I'm not going to throw my fleet away for strangers that aren't even asking for help.
Construction project concluded.
So if we look at their ships are laser and yeah, they're pretty well equipped and phase disruptors. Yeah, they have some pretty high-tech ships. So it's really not a very good idea to go toe-to-toe with them right now. That I can say very definitively. I would get squished pretty hard. Like a bug on a windshield.
Construction project concluded.
And what they're doing is they're just like bombarding this planet to death. Pretty much while I watch, because I don't really have the ability to stop them, which is kind of weird.
System survey concluded. Anomaly found.
So I'm setting these two ships to automatically survey because all this stuff's probably already been surveyed. For whatever reason, this hadn't, though. So maybe I'm wrong about that, which is kind of odd. But it's not likely I'm going to be able to use whatever benefit that tile has anyway. It's kind of too far. Oh, and I just discovered another curator, or another enclave. Whether it's curator or not, I don't know.
Special project concluded.
So, studying the amoeba gives me more evasion for my ships. That's much better than a one-time boost to research, mind you. Alright, so these stupid Vol turned this planet into a toxic wasteland. They basically obliterated it. There's an emergency buoy here. There's another Marauder that I just met. So now I understand why there's really not a lot of territory conquered up here, because both Marauders are up there. And
receiving transmission.
I'm going to decline this migration treaty.
Special project concluded.
Alright, so this is Zuracorp, which is a economic enclave. which allows you to trade for minerals and whatnot, and strategic resources, but I don't really need the strategic resources right now. How is my fleet? So my fleet is about as big as it's going to get. So in order to create a vassal out of these guys, what I need to do is I need to make claims so that one of their planets that is inhabited is inside of my claims.
Situation log.
All right, so I just offered some people to rescue them, and they're down here. I'm going to send... oh, my scientists will get chewed up if that one goes. Let's send this one to sort of explore down that way. I'll send my fleet if it looks safe. And the Purgers disappeared. They just went poof. I'm curious if I'm able to... Yeah, I'm not even able to colonize anything on that planet because it's all toxic wasteland. So it's like a ruined Gaia planet. I obviously chose wrong. Some of the random events, there are wrong choices. And I made a wrong one there. If I just said, hey, go ahead, clear them out, maybe I would have a Gaia planet to myself. But hey, I tried to uplift. I guess that's what I get for trying to do the right thing. At this point, I feel pretty secure that I'm going to have, like, definitely the largest, probably most powerful. I'm very likely more powerful than all of all the other civs, but I'd like to, stay ahead of the curve. All right, so I built another starbase at Mendok. This is once again going to be another anchorage station. My other anchorage stations I can replace... Oh, I don't have the research yet. So once I get the Naval Logistics Office, I'll replace the listening post with Naval Logistics.
Concluded.
And that will further increase my naval capacity, which will be good, because I'm butting up against my naval capacity right now. And that would put me over the tipping point to be able to go to war with my neighbor and, sort of dominate him in the way I'd like to.
System survey concluded.
Now, one thing I'm going to do right now is change things around. I'm actually going to downgrade this starport and upgrade one at whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it. And the reason being is you can build some pretty cool bonuses on systems that have enclaves, and I like those bonuses. The one that you can build with the artisan troop is a bonus to Unity, which is what my civs are all about, so I'd be foolish to pass that up.
Construction project concluded. Research concluded.
Alright, so I just got the logistics office. Maybe interstellar campaigns. If I'm starting to go to war, it stands to reason that I might want to be able to claim enemy territory more cheaply. That seems a pretty straightforward thing to want to have. Oh, so these guys have closed their borders to me? Let's see if I can't. I'll open my borders to them, maybe they open my borders to me, and then I can actually get to this, whatever it is, for the ransomers. Yep, there they go. They opened their borders. Okay.
Receiving transmission.
And they want to trade communications with me. I'll go ahead and do that. I just researched better armor, and now I'm going to research cruisers. Or maybe starholds, actually. Oddly enough. So green is really expanding. I'm not that worried about it. But they're really expanding. Oh, and these guys open their borders to me. Oh, these guys. So these are ancient. These are like fallen empires that will awaken at some point. But yeah, you should not piss them off early on, or they will squish you like you don't exist.
Construction project concluded.
I'm doing a pretty good job of sort of filling out everywhere. Extending my scientific deal with them. And I encountered some more aliens. I encountered probably this enclave here. We'll see in a month if that is true. Or maybe these guys, actually.
Special project concluded.
Yeah, probably those guys. Yep.
Situation log.
Let's do a little drone study. Now, expanding my navy because I know I'm about to build some naval logistics offices, so I'm not going to have to pay for it for very long. Now, this is a pretty windy path to try to help out the ransomers.
Project concluded.
So, you know, I'm going pretty well outside my way to do it.
System survey concluded.
So, if I have a diplomatic agreement with this local artisan enclave, let's contact them. I can build an artist college. So let's see, found an art college. Alright, I can do it. They've allowed it. Let's go ahead and queue that up. And then put anchorage stations there as well. So it will be for unity and for fleet capacity. A 1-2 punch. And then I'm currently figuring out what enclave is here. Whether it be, it's probably traders.
Special project concluded.
Yep, they are. Okay. I said that because, you know, there's already a few curators.
A declaration of war has been announced.
All right, so the Magar multitude is on declared war on the Omni Wardens. Who are all these people? So Magar multitude. Omni Wardens is here. Magar, okay, so they border each other, and it doesn't really concern us. They're kind of in the corner. Off where it doesn't concern us. Okay, another thing I might want to do is get a better admiral. So I just fired my old one, hired my new one. Look around for better scientists. I don't really need a general yet.
Construction
I'm not
project
conquering
concluded.
worlds. But yeah, there we go. I now have 48 capacity. So I can build a few more destroyers.
Research concluded.
Let's see. This is more anomaly, discovery, speed, and chance. It looks pretty nice. However, there's really not a lot of anomalies left to get. I've surveyed kind of just about,
System survey
not literally
concluded.
everything, but just about everything. So there's some systems like Rebel and Vortex or whatever this one's called. Hishmal.
Special project concluded.
That will have some
System
surveys
survey concluded.
left because they have enemy units there sort of protecting it, but to me it's not really worth, you know, a whole research tree, etc. to unlock that.
Construction project concluded.
Alright, so now I have maxed out my fleet capacity. I'm having everyone rendezvous to the first expeditionary fleet. They are currently on mission. But, alas, I am out of time. So, this will have to do for this episode. If you have any feedback for me, drop me a line, and I hope you tune in next time. Adios all.